which will be about digital innovation. Can cloud communication platforms, CX, and cybersecurity be your next innovation engine? And for that, I would like to welcome back on stage Matt.
Okay, so I'd like to welcome my panel, Dr. Nikan, Daniel, and Connor, and Pushpendra. Please come to the stage. Yeah, just sit here, yeah, please. Yeah. Thank you. Please. Join us. Okay. This is one panel I'm really looking forward to because we have some really diverse experts here, and let me do a bit of introduction. So the topic is innovation. I mean, and I think we kind of try to cover innovation from every angle. We had cloud communication, customer engagement, messaging, and also cybersecurity. So, how can this be an engine for growth? And opportunities. So, we talk about digital transformation. It is evolving fast and quick. Countries have to compete for resources and skills, whether locally or regionally or globally. We have to stay ahead of the curve. It's very crucial especially for operators, wholesale carriers, enterprise, SMEs. So I want to bring these diverse panels into this discussion because each of them bring a unique perspective on the areas that they are experts. So first of all, let me introduce the panel. First of all, I will, maybe from the way left, Connor Devin. He is representing Infobip. Infobip is the global leader in omni-channel communication solution. Connor will talk about insight on how APIs are changing real-time communication and enabling businesses to engage with customer on their preferred channel. And on my next one, I have Mr. Daniel Fahey. He's the client director at Compax Digital. Daniel brings a wealth of experience in helping businesses leverage technology for growth. He will discuss the transformation power of cloud communication platform and how they can enhance collaboration and efficiency. Next, we have Dr. Nikan Dwi Wahyu Chayani. She is a senior lecturer from Telkom University here in Jakarta. Dr. Chayani brings her extensive research in cybersecurity and digital forensics to the table. So we will love to hear from her research, what has she discovered in terms of some of the evolving threat landscape, and how, her view in how companies can proactively protect their digital assets. Last but not least, Pushpendra Singh from Meta. Pushpendra leads the charge in mobile authentication and business messaging. Remember, we've talked about WhatsApp being a very dominant messaging communication for engagement. So Pushpendra, represent WhatsApp, and I think we would love to hear what is the vision and the opportunities and the innovation that we can expect from WhatsApp, especially also in other part of Meta, in reshaping customer engagement, building trust in the digital age. So on that note, and maybe I would love to hear a bit, so I've kind of talk about a bit about who you are, but maybe from Connor, maybe you can expand and give it a bit more color about, Infobip and your background.
Yeah. So my name's Connor Devine. I'm based in Kuala Lumpur, and I'm Global Business Development Director with Infobip. And that means I look after operator groups and key clients in the region.
Okay. Thank you, Connor. Daniel?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel Fahey. I am currently based out of Singapore. I've been working in the sort of IT mobility area for 30 years now. I've worked in Asia, Europe, Africa, and spent 13 years as the lead architect for mobility and data in Telstra. I'm now working with Compax Digital. They're a sort of family business. We heard about the BSS OSS domain. That's where we sit, and our goal is to sort of enable business agility and the ability to experiment, which I think is something maybe most telcos have somewhat struggled with over time.
Dr. Nikan, a bit more about you, where your background and your research. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
At Telecom University. Yeah.
Yes. So hello everyone. My name is Nikan. I'm from Telkom University, from informatics faculty. So my research background is just Matt mentioned before in cybersecurity and especially in digital forensics. So it's not based in Jakarta, Matt. The Telkom University is in Bandung. So it's maybe about 2 or 3 hours from here in Jakarta. So actually in Telkom University, in informatics faculty, we have one specific master degree in cybersecurity and digital forensics. Yeah, so if we talk about digital forensics, then everything, every media that have digital data inside on them, then we can do forensic investigation on that kind of media. Okay, thank you, Matt.
And Pushpendra, a bit about your background and what you do at Meta.
I hope my mic's working. Is it working? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. So I'm based out of Singapore. I've been working with Meta for 7 years. I definitely wasn't hired to do what I do today, but I think the evolving space in authentication and business messaging forced us to form new teams to take care of it. So I'm today here with my colleague Clive. He's also there in the audience. And yeah, we would love to hear your thoughts on what do you think over Advent over the last couple of years. And yeah, I'm happy to talk more about how do we see WhatsApp and how do we see the mobile authentication space as it ramps up in days to come.
Perfect.
So super excited and lots to learn from you guys.
Thank you, guys. So yeah, I think the thing about innovation is that you really have to know the cross section of where all this intersection from security, engagement, messaging, So there's no silo. So part of the skill set that we have, so part of this intention of this is to bring this diverse and all the intersection and all the correlation that we have to be aware of when it comes to where the innovation are coming and could come from. So I think the first questions I have, I want to go into a bit more specific on cybersecurity to Dr. Nikan. Dr. Nikan, with the increasing sophistication of cyber threats, what are the key cybersecurity challenges facing businesses today? And and how do you feel the digital forensic and what you do can mitigate those risks? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Matt. So I think the key cybersecurity challenges that faced by businesses also quite similar that is faced by other companies. So we can say data breach, data leaks, and also service disruptions. And also I think the most important thing is how we can respond to that kind of risk in a promptly, in a timely manner. Yeah. Why these three? And because we already know that we have current examples of that I just mentioned before in Indonesia as well. We experienced one threat related with our data, and also just I think 2 weeks ago we heard about Falcon that makes all the many service disrupt in many countries. Why? Because I think now we already started, all of us starting to depend on computer systems to store our data, not only on premise, but also on cloud. And we also deliver our services online and connect all our mobile electronic devices through internet 24/7. And I think, I believe that all of us here, we already know about all these threats and actually know how to handle this. But one thing that we sometimes miss is we need to do the security measurements in, in a disciplined manner. Because we already know about this, but if we don't do that, so what is the point? Yeah, and talking about the cybersecurity, maybe not currently, previously we know about information security, and information security is focused on securing the CIA confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information. But cybersecurity is more focused on protecting the electronic devices from cyber attacks. But I think now these two terms is we cannot differentiate, and then they have to go together. And related with digital forensics that you just mentioned before, I think the most challenges in digital forensic is when we have to investigate an incident that many times we just have the evidence that we call it a garbage evidence. Why? Because when there is an incident, then the first team that has to respond is incident response team. But this incident response teams, mainly they just have to main task. First is to respond to the incidents, to give the system back to the normal one, and then just to ensure that the incident is not go further. But sometimes the incident response team, they forget when they try to do their task, they don't make like a backup for the log or the data that is important for digital forensics. So when the company want to investigate further, then us, digital forensic people, we don't have many digital data that we can go investigate or go further for analysis further. So I think that is the relation between cybersecurity and digital forensic. I need add one more thing. So if we talk about incidents in cybersecurity, so we can see it before the incidents, during the incidents, and then after the incidents. So before the incident is the main of audit system. So we have to make sure that our system is compliant to security standards. So we need to ensure, or we need to mitigate the risk for the threats. And then during the incidents is the incident response teams that I just mentioned before. And then the last time is after the incident is us as digital forensics. But sometimes when we try to do our job, the step before us during incidents, the the incident response teams, they don't give us many data to be analyzed. Yes, okay.
Thank you, Dr. Nikan. So I just want to switch gear a bit and talk about, this is to Meta, Pushpendra, and we know WhatsApp is dominant. We know it's a preferred channel in a lot of communication now. So I think from a business perspective, and how do you see businesses leveraging WhatsApp and possibly other messaging channels to create more personalized and engaging experience? So, and that's the first question, and I have a follow-up questions on the mobile authentication, but maybe you can answer that question first. Yeah.
No, I think, thanks, Matt. So I think, first of all, before we get into what business messaging is doing, I think, as a company, we take immense pride in one of the most secure messaging apps on the planet. And I think security, privacy comes to the core of our development cycle. Even if you want to develop a feature or something, first of all, we think that how can we be more secure? And I think the example of the fact that we can't share data between WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram shows how much we are committed as a company to making sure every time you ring someone is encrypted, every time you send a message is encrypted, And that sometimes is impacting our ambitions in business as well, because we can't even see what businesses are talking to each other and stuff. So I think that's core part to it. So I think aligning to your question is like security, privacy is core to our product design. How businesses are getting onto it, I think go back 3-4 years back, we realized that people are using WhatsApp in one way or the other. And I think we saw there were a lot of friction points on how everyone was interacting, because everyone was done on the consumer part of the app and stuff. So we started working on that. We have like we had an SMB app, which could be like for small, medium customers in the neighborhood, like a flower shop or the cake shop and stuff. And beyond that, and we're like, hey, the big businesses would also want to use it. And that's when we launched the API 4 years back. We have seen tremendous growth. And I think as the growth comes in, many things happen. So I think we also have very important metrics, which we call health of the app. And we are seeing in some markets, right? Like, and I'm pretty sure some of you might have questions on, you're getting too many marketing messages and stuff, right? So I think that's a question which normally comes in, and we are very mindful of that. So we are putting controls onto that. So I think that's coming up very soon. Yeah, but I think we're just making life easier. Like on a WhatsApp API, you can literally develop most of the use cases you have. If you happen to travel to India or to Brazil, you can see a super amazing payments experience. We are also launching something in Malaysia soon with one of the telco operators, which is a web view payments, which hasn't been live anywhere else across. So we continue to develop the cycle. I would highly recommend, there is a conversations on WhatsApp happening in Jakarta. So I think if you guys want to know more what's happening on WhatsApp, do join that. So just search conversations at WhatsApp. So that's coming here. And the next one is going to be in Mumbai. So we already had one in Sao Paulo and stuff. So I think those are great events to join. We also got a lot of feedback from the market on voice calling as well for businesses. So that's also in beta trial in many markets and stuff. So it would be good to experience. I think if you ring My Republic over here, I think they have a prototype. And I think we have our friends from TELIN who are also working on expanding it to businesses and stuff. So I think a lot of new development and features which are coming near to you, I think. Yeah, and we continue to build onto that.
Okay. Okay, I want to maybe come back to you on the authentication part, but let me move on the same, I guess, frequency with to Connor. So Connor, on the API, I mean, I think an open API, and it's also key to transforming real-time communication. And so, what are your thoughts around the benefits, and what is Infobip is doing in that, in terms of leveraging open API in your platform for customer engagement, operational efficiency, building trust, securing, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Thanks, Matt. I'm not sure what I can say about APIs that hasn't already been covered by Charisma and Chandima. Well done, guys. That's really bringing it to the forefront. I agree with Nikin. So we need to have security for the trust, for the subscriber, for people to invest as well their own time in these applications. And there's, of course, a really thin line between trust and being able to develop. So Infobip would see itself as a devco. So we know that telco is moving to being a techco, but companies like Infobip and, by the looks of it, TELIN as well, are moving to becoming a devco to open up their own platform to connect into the operators. And that requires the likes of, say, Kevin here from the GSMA and the initiatives they're driving in the Open Gateway camera project. Also MEF for allowing this kind of a forum and a discussion to take part. But also all the operators need to move forward into that area because it's going to give a better quality of service for the end subscriber. APIs have been open before. They've always been open from the operators. But it's been on a case-by-case basis. So operators have developed what they need or very specific use cases to their own network or to their own country. So where we're trying to move in alignment with the GSMA and discussions that are happening here is that we bring the use cases on a global level so that all operators are able to leverage that and provide a better service for subscribers. So if you look at the obvious examples, you've got number verification, device location, SIM swap, number portability. All of these things are very good for security and can assist in providing banking and financial services, insurance, with the type of security they need to provide to their subscribers, to the people who trust them as we're talking about it. But there are other things we can do, which is moving into the enterprise space and leveraging 5G. So for everyone here, I'm based in Malaysia, I don't see the benefit of 5G. However, if I go to a concert, if I go to the Olympics, for instance, maybe I can leverage some of the services there from the networks and actually get more from my experience. Maybe it's based in Kuala Lumpur and I have access to more footage, I have access to more insights and statistics. Maybe we move more into augmented reality, so we're bringing in different areas that can leverage 5G connectivity. If you're there at the Olympics, for instance, you may have issue getting a quality of service, okay? So maybe you need to hire a Grab to go back to your hotel. So how do you splice the network to actually have that segment, to have the access to communicate with your driver efficiently? So it's all these types of use cases that are driving the next stage of APIs and enabling subscribers to enjoy more from the network. And as we were talking about it, it's really, working with the likes of Meta, driving what that use case might be and opening the platform. So I think it's a very interesting space right now.
Okay.
And as Infobip would see it, we are a devco, as mentioned. So we have 80 offices globally. We have 4,000 people. We're turning over roughly $2 billion a year. But all of our investment is going into development. So we're having more and more events regionally to bring people in to develop upon our platform, exactly as TELIN are doing, to make sure that what is locally required, what the people are driving is answered, and that those services are provided at, well, with speed. Because I think Chandima was mentioning it, the biggest challenge is shipping hardware, right? So bringing things into country, setting them up, integration. So how do we bypass that and make sure when we sign off a project with an operator on behalf of an enterprise, or the enterprise signs it directly, how can we ensure that that gets delivered timely, for the market's benefit? The Olympics are in 6 weeks' time. So if you're starting to talk about those things now, they probably won't be implemented. However, via APIs, the connectivity can be much quicker and you can drive that benefit sooner.
Okay, awesome. Great answer. So Daniel, so you work in, I guess, tying it all together for your clients. So you've heard all the feedback. We have open API, we have messaging communication, we have cybersecurity concerns. What are your thoughts in innovation, in bringing that to your client? So please share.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So one of the things I'm interested in is, anyone in the audience in product development or product launch, my job in Telstra was actually to kill projects, one of my key jobs, because we ran a capacity model and there was always more ideas than we could deliver. And I was seen as being really good at the job, but when we think about it in terms of what we've heard from, the audience today, the team today, is that actually my job was essentially a failure. Because innovation can come from lots of sources. One of my favorite lines is, every telco wants to innovate, just no one wants to be first, right? But if we give those tools to people and enable that sort of product agility through the techniques that people, we heard about today, something that maybe works in Singapore might not work in Indonesia, but something that's tried locally, maybe in Sumatra, might work really well. So that ability to experiment is really important. And so a core foundation is getting that product agility into our systems. So that's, I think, what I'm really now sort of passionate about, what I think, our technology brings, enabling our business to be innovative, to try things. If it doesn't work, pull it back, change it, put it back out. And the typical life cycle for a product might be 3 months or 6 months. It doesn't give us the ability to innovate when, every project is a long, effort involving development, involving, teams globally. So building innovation in our product architecture is one of the foundations that we must get right. Matt?
Great. Thank you very much, Daniel. So I want to go back to Pushpendra a bit on Meta. I know one of the areas that you focus on is mobile authentication, correct? And so, it's obviously, it's an interesting because I think the next panel that you have after lunch is about digital trust. And having that trust is about how can a user, customer authenticate itself seamlessly, easily, without all the cumbersome login and password and all that. So I think I want to maybe get a Meta perspective on what your view, what Meta's view on authentication and what you guys are doing in that space.
It's an interesting question, right? I think, as I told you, right, like I was not hired to do what I'm doing. So I think the space evolved so fast, and we would wake up in the morning sometimes and see the price has gone up by X percentage in the market, and that started to become a trend, which is okay. I think there's an industry, and I think industry behaves in a different way, and I think there's varied reasons for it. Authentication for us, like SMS is a good source because I think it's a channel which works across 900 operators efficiently. What we have been recently started seeing is we started trials for Carrier API, which is the silent auth in 14 countries. The numbers look very good. It's much more secure because you're directly connected to the networks and stuff. And we're expanding it more. I think pricing was an issue a couple of years back because I think no one knew how to price it. But now we're getting into a space where either it's cheaper than SMS by 20, 25%, or at a similar price. So I think that's like one thing which is largely getting into it. We also have a product on our own platform, WhatsApp ODP, which we are scaling in different markets and stuff. And the ask we have been like getting from businesses who get onto is like, the pricing is one, definitely, and I think the security as well. So I think we are also looking at like building a OTP-less sort of a product as we get into the days to come and stuff. But yeah, I think auth will remain a critical need for businesses to survive and for companies like us across the world. And I think it just needs to be built like more secure and stuff. I think SIM farms in the past, I think, and we see like other alternative ways of authentication which are emerging, which is probably not right for the industry. So I think direct connectivity to operators, long-term, sustainable 5 to 10 to 15-year deals so that everyone can plan their businesses. And then I think APIs probably is the core answer to these things in days to come. So I think that's how we're looking at it. Again, super evolving space, a lot of new players onto it. But I think what I'm seeing over the last 12 months in the industry is now we're getting of a sense of like how this space will shape up and stuff. And I think that more APIs apart just from auth. And I think currently there's no clarity in the market on what will those APIs do, what is the pricing for them. So I think there's a lot to explore on the second part of it. But I think as Meta, we are super clear on what does the auth API mean for us and how we are expanding into that space. All other APIs, I think there's a lot of clutter there to talk about on the pricing and all that stuff. So
well,
thank
you, Push. Yeah. Well, I have to say, it's never a dull moment. This is an exciting time. I do want to get some audience questions. So I'm opening up the floor. Anybody has a question? Yeah.
I'm Chandima. I would like to ask from Meta, right? So from name Pushpendra, right? Pushpendra, because my question is, when we enable some financial transaction through Meta, right? Because in your Meta, we have a flow builder. We can connect it with external integration point with finance system. So then what is your security assurance? Because let's assume any other mobile application, mobile money application, we have a PCI DSS certification or whatever thing. But when it's come to the transaction integrated with Meta platform, is there any, assurance we can give it to financially assure nothing, fraud happen, no, tempering, nothing happen for our transaction and it's end-to-end secure. Is there any, initiative or any way forward related to those financial transactions throughout the Meta?
Are you talking about how people pay for ads on our platform? Is that the question?
No, because my question is now when we integrated with the flow builder, you can connect it with any endpoint, transactional end. I'm having something like 5 banking accounts, but I need to remove that all the 5 banking accounts, and I will make something like a WhatsApp application, and I integrated with all the 5 bank accounts together, right?
I'm not getting the crux of your question, but if your question is about So when you make payments on ads, we use the platforms like MasterCard, Visa, which the world uses, and I'm pretty sure you have used 5 of them this morning since you woke up doing transactions. So I think that's one part of the story. Second is where we have got payments live on our platforms, India and Brazil, the secured way, approved by regulators, and I think that's how we do it. As we have a scale of more than 3 billion people on the platform, people will always do things like they will send links and the links will go somewhere. We try to like protect them as much as we can, but I think Meta is not supposed to be a platform where you buy and sell services for like say on Facebook and on direct messenger and stuff. That's the initiative which users are doing. We do take a lot of care like when we see like fraud signals and stuff. And I think that's why we are like urging industry to come and like work closely with us like on trust signals and stuff if we can validate that. But your question, right, like if in Indonesia we don't have a payments experience, say on WhatsApp, which is created by a third party, I think you will understand that as a company we have very limited visibility on that, on how the transaction flows. But if you're in India, if you're in Brazil, where we got payments live, and in US, the experience is on par what the industry trade standards are. Yeah, thanks.
Any other question?
The question relating to authentication and use of different channels for authentication. How important you all believe it is for authentication to make sure the SIM card is actually in the phone when authenticating a mobile number versus solutions that may be checked for a SIM card being there a month ago or a year ago?
I didn't get your question. Is it like how important security of authentication is for us, or?
Well, when you're authenticating a mobile number, how do you make sure the SIM card is actually in the phone at that instant versus maybe in the phone a year ago?
I think it's a great question, and I think I was expecting industry to solve for it. I think telecom operators to solve for it, and I think that's why what we're doing is over the last 3 to 4 years, most of our traffic goes through direct deals. So I think that's what we were doing. So we believe there's a larger trust engine over there. And as I talked about getting into like carrier APIs and silent auth, I think that's true. There can be scenarios where I think there is a fraudster elements in place. I personally believe we have a very diligent security apparatus working within our company. We deploy more than 100 engineers to figure it out. There can be an odd incident, but I believe that our security apparatus does that pretty well. And again, I urge industry to work closely with us. And I think one of those is connect with APIs. And I think there are APIs now available for like whether the SIM is in the device or not and all that stuff. So always, as I said, like we are more than willing to work with industry all the time to get the right trust signals.
Okay, so I want to just wrap up, but I want to just wrap up and kind of get a one-word answer from each of the panel. When you think of innovation and the future, give me one word. Yeah, 1 word or 2 words, maybe no more than 2. Just what are your thoughts when you say innovation, digital transformation? What 1 word came to you?
Can I have a couple more words? I have 4 or 5. I know we're short on time.
Oh, I'll give you some flexibility. Just
okay.
What came to your mind? Yes.
Okay, word count. So I think it's really interesting that we're all sitting here. 5 years ago, certainly we wouldn't have the same panel because we wouldn't have the same interests. And I think 5 years from now, you would have maybe an extra seat or 2 seats with more diverse people joining. Certainly on the developer side, Meta maybe have additional business lines, whatever it might be, and you'll see a much more engaging public conversation. And I think that's a good thing because we come from a world where the operators have had quite a lot of control, and now it's getting more and more democratic for the benefit of the operator. In line with the hyperscalers. So, yeah, I think you'll see more seats here, and it'll be a more interesting discussion. And this is an interesting discussion. It may be more engaging again.
Correct.
Yeah.
Daniel?
Yeah, but my one word would be partnerships. You know, beyond connectivity, you know, working with partners, looking at inspiration. I think most telcos probably will not look at telcos, but they will look at the likes of Amazon and what they have done, you know, with their payments, with their logistics. You know, it's a whole ecosystem, and I think that's where the telcos can really look for inspiration going forward.
Thank you, Dr. Nikan.
Okay, I think in cybersecurity I have 3. First is AI, of course. to give a real-time incident response and detection and response. And then the second one is safe quantum cryptographic. And then the third one is we need to have tamper-proof transaction record using blockchain.
Okay, thank you. Bush, just
I will stick to the brief coexistence.
coexisting. Okay. Well, thank you very much, folks. This is where it's a wrap. And thank you again for the panel. Yep.